All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to be back to our regularly scheduled building activities instead of drywall repair and things like that. So a little bit more interesting. And we're going to try and wrap up our exterior framing and sheathing. So today we're going to be filling in the gable, which is the triangle part at the top of the walls on the one end. And so before we put all the rafters up, we just didn't enclose that. And so essentially we put in two supports that hold the ridge beam, and the ridge beam is really just there to have something for all of the rafters to nail to. So it's not really, we don't need the supports. The rafters are supporting. So on the existing house, there's no ridge beam. They're just 2x4s resting together like this, nothing to nail them to. So essentially we're gonna take out that little T-shaped thing from a couple videos ago that's holding up the rafters, and then we're gonna fill in the little end wall here, and then we're gonna tape up the rest of it. So we're gonna try and this is the interesting part. So like building the main walls go quicker because they're bigger and you can just build them on the ground and then tip them up. But essentially the gable end is all gonna be custom cuts, and I have to, there's a math you can do, but because of what I talked about before, the pitches being different, it's not the same side to side. So I can't just, do the math and say, okay, at 32 inches, it's going to be this because our slope is the same. It's not. So I could do that for one side, but then I would have to redo the math. And at the 4.5 to 12 slope, it just doesn't work. So it's going to be completely custom. It's probably going to take way longer than we think, but we should be able to knock it all out this video, and then we can start to move on to putting windows in. So I think I mentioned that last time, but we still need to go pick up a couple more, but we will be able to essentially fully enclose and be done with all the sheathing on the project. So that's cool. That's the plan for today. Let's get into it. Thanks for watching.
Size are these for?
I think that's the best part about like some of the Facebook stuff is like that's kind of very critical for what you're selling, and you don't have what it actually is. All right, I'm shooting.
Okay.
You want to hand me that hammer?
Yep.
Okay, what do you think? Do you think we just do this section?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're gonna have to take down the support.
Yeah. Do you think I should just put the studs like in line with these ceiling joists, right?
Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense. All right, do you want to hand me the pencil and the square? Pencil's under the hand saw.
It fell, get it?
Oh no.
I gotta reach in the nest. The bugs. I'm finding us a door.
Hell yeah. For cheaper than $2,300?
Yeah.
Just make sure it has a frame.
Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah. because then we can afford to like just buy the extra window that we need, you know, just like go order it and not be like, oh, I'm gonna be broke for the next 6 months because of it.
So like if something was like $400 without a frame though, are you like okay with no frame?
Just need to make a frame.
We can't just buy a frame?
I don't think so. I mean, don't rule that out, but I would need to check. So, forgot I was going to need it.
We just need a little note. Want me to write these down?
Yeah. 5 1/8. These are all to the short side.
Okay.
11 1/8. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
17 1/4.
Okay.
And 7/16.
This is crazy. This looks like so much more grand than what was here.
This is how I felt when we, that's exactly how I felt when we tore off the back bit. And then we were standing on the ground and just looking up at the peak, and I'm like, holy, this is huge. Okay, what are the numbers?
17 1/4. Forgot I was supposed to. Looks very official.
What? Oh, that?
Those two. And
It's
with
gonna
the,
look-
with the angles.
Yeah. It's gonna look pretty finished after this, which is.
Am I gonna have to get up? No, you can deassemble that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Disassemble.
Alright guys, so what we've done here is, well, we've already got started on it, but essentially we have a 2x6 base plate that we're putting on top of the ceiling joists, which are kind of the darker and lighter alternating woods that you see. And so we're trying to create it the exact same way you'd create your regular wall. You have a base plate, you have a top plate, and ours just happened to be sloped on one side, right? So we have some complicated cuts near the corner, but, you know, and then all of the top of the studs will have to be cut on an angle. So once we figured that angle out, which, you know, I just had a little angle finder, got it, it made it a lot more simple, so I could just go ahead, and I knew I was going to cut them at 18 degrees, or I think it was 17.5 degrees or something like that. And so I knew I had to cut all the tops like that. You can alternate, so I cut one at 17, and then it creates two angles essentially, right? So I cut the middle of two, and then I just cut a flat cut on the next one. So like I mentioned in the intro, each one of these, you know, I'm measuring out 16 inches. I'm taking the level, making sure that these are going to be level or plumb, I guess, and then getting the dimension in between the top plate and the bottom plate. And so just a tedious process, but kind of do 1 or 2 at a time or 3 at a time, as many as I can reach on the ladder. And then you saw us we had to move back the support there, which I also mentioned in the intro. So I just knocked it back enough where I could get the base plate in, and then we'll cut it out later when we're on the inside doing whatever. But I'll just cut it out with the Sawzall. But yeah, so this is somewhat supporting the end joists here, but also tying in the lower part of the wall and the ceiling joist to the roof rafters and all that. So just really tying all this in and also filling in the hole. So this is a pretty satisfying part of the project. Makes it look really official and, you know, done. Before it just looked like we had a pavilion essentially. So pretty cool to see this go in. And then this is our the vent from the original house. So this matches the front, so we wanted to keep this. And this is just to kind of create airflow through the attic. And we have a ridge vent. So this is coming in through the sides of each gable and then out through the roof. And so we'll move on to some more cutting.
if you needed to come down to anything.
Well, I wanted to see if it fit before I. Oh, that's loud.
Whew. You hear your ears?
I do not.
Where are they? Where are they?
They're on the bottom of that thing. I just need to get it put in before I got down.
Yeah, because that piece looked really small down here, and it's like really big up there.
Looks huge up here.
Yeah. Morning, neighbors.
Problem is, I have no idea where these studs are. Pencil's right straight on.
Lizard, you're massive.
Lizard, 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 lizard.
Want me to go inside and see if you hit them?
I haven't shot it.
No, I know, but
I mean,
as you
yeah.
call them out.
Well, throw me the hammer real quick. It's on the windowsill. Okay, alright.
Okay. And then we roll the tape, roll the tape.
Okay, what was the last dimension I gave you?
Feet by 16.
Nice.
What?
It lines up, perfectly.
Well, it should now.
Right, but you never know. Okay, 42 3/4. Okay, what are the numbers? 32.
Portion and 3/4.
And then there's like 14.
And 3/4.
So I think that should be the angle, but I think we're just gonna lean. We're gonna tip this up here. Let's see how that looks. Let's give it a shot.
not my straps. I think if we ever redo the roof, they just have to do new waterproofing.
Yeah. Okay, just hold some weight on it. Pretty close.
Why are they different?
Because it's offset.
Oh yeah, it's not centered.
Alright, that map does map out. Okay. Okay, more carrying full sheets of plywood. All right, so 2 videos in a row where you get to watch me struggle carrying an entire sheet of some sort of building material. But yeah, this was miserable, way heavier than I thought. I obviously loaded all the ones onto the roof just like this, but you know, I could just flop it down and it was no problem. So yeah, really heavy. It was jammed, so Mackenzie's trying to hit it over, it got stuck, and essentially it just wasn't going to go in one sheet, and it, you know, weighs 85 pounds or something like that. So we're going to cut it in half. I want to cut this in half
Okay.
to put it back up.
Then cut it in half. Cut it at the stud.
Just making sure that this sheet courses out onto a stud so we don't have any weird overlap, which is why the last sheet isn't fully 8 feet. It's like 7 foot something 2 or 6 foot 10 or something. So anyway, the left to right, the studs aren't a perfect full sheet. So anyway, just making sure this thing courses out, and we're going to cut it into half-ish so that way it's a little bit lighter and easier to manage.
It's not like a real problem. There we go.
See?
You're done?
I think so. I can't really see this edge, so.
It's within construction tolerance.
Hold on. Firing. Okay, so what do you think? We just go try this piece up there?
Yeah. It just goes right up against it, right?
Even though we're cutting out like a square on it.
Yeah.
So this was a little bit of the frustrating part. It goes up and it fits like perfectly. So I don't know. It was just kind of wedged, and we really just needed like an 1/8 inch gap in the middle there between them, and it went in fine. So yeah, I mean, obviously easier to handle, but with 2 sheets, it was just like, I know it can fit, it should be no problems, and you know, just wanted us to spend a little bit extra time, cut it in half, make sure we got nice and sweaty, got a good workout in lifting sheets of plywood. So anyway, this next part, pretty challenging. So essentially we were using the opposite side triangle piece, what was left over, and we had to do some really, creative math, and we couldn't just use the square edge. So a lot of thinking, but I think we got it done.
I can't wait till all this debris is gone.
Definitely there. We got a little gap on top, but I can't tell if it's got enough. All right, here you get to watch us tape the zip system up here. So I know this didn't really get included in any of the other pieces, maybe only a couple minutes, but yeah, so really simple process. Do the horizontals or verticals first, and then do the horizontals. Around the opening for the vent, I just sealed up so that way if water ever got behind it, it doesn't expand that OSB. And then whenever we put the vent in, you kind of tape over and go a little bit further in each direction, so that way it's all sealed together. So if water does get behind the siding eventually that goes up, the water would not go into the house at all. It would just hit the tape, and the vapor barrier that's built into the system kind of creates, a system that would run the water all the way down. So spending a little bit extra time here just because it's a little more tedious, but so relatively simple process. You have a joint, put tape over it, make sure your verticals are done, make sure that it's overlapping from bottom to top, essentially. And luckily there's only a few joints on this. Obviously on the left side we had to do a little bit more just because of the pieces that we had. We were trying to be efficient. Essentially we bought 4 sheets to do the gable, and we got it done in 3 with that little sliver that I just put up there that I'm taping now. That was from like a previous sheet that we had left over. So we got it done in 3, saved a little bit of money. Obviously doing the 5/8 zip that's here, which is this red brown color, is a little bit of a premium. So typically the roof is done in 5/8, and you would see like a 1/2 inch or a 7/16, which is the green. That's done on the walls, but 7/16 just feels a little thin to me, so for a relatively small upgrade, have a little bit more rigidity and thickness on the walls here, especially being in like a hurricane potential impact rating area. So just a little bit more peace of mind for us, and overall just like the water tightness of this system. And yeah, so this is going to be pretty much it for the video, just wrapping up the rest of the taping, catching a couple of nails that I missed there, punching them out, and then those will just get taped up also, or liquid flashed, so that way there's no blowout or anything like that. And that's kind of to keep the entire system tight. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you've made this far, thanks for watching. Next video, we're going to get into windows, which is massive. So really exciting progress, and we'll see you later.